From Zack Morris not being blonde,
And that's why the blonde hair was dyed for all those years. People think, oh, that was your natural hair color. It was not.
to Screech's actual first kiss in life,
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so sad. I don't know what I am.
here are 10 weird Saved by the Bell facts you probably never knew. Let's start with Saved by the Bell didn't start as Saved by the Bell. The show actually began as Good Morning Miss Bliss, a short-lived Disney Channel series set in Indianapolis. It focused on a middle school teacher, Miss Bliss, played by Hayley Mills, and her students, including a young Zack Morris. When NBC saw potential but wanted a different direction, they retooled everything. They moved the setting to California, aged the characters into high school, and shifted the focus from the teacher to the students. Only a few characters survived the change. Zack, Screech, and Mr. Belding. The tone completely shifted. What started as a relatively serious show about education turned into a bright, fun, and sometimes absurd sitcom. But one thing wasn't as fun as it looked. Zack's hair. Mark Paul Gosselaar, who played Zack Morris, was known for his iconic blonde hair, but surprisingly, it wasn't natural. Gosselaar is actually a brunette and had to bleach his hair every 2 weeks to maintain that golden California look throughout the show's run. In interviews, Gosselaar admitted the bleaching process was rough. His hair often felt damaged, and he dreaded sitting in the salon chair so often. Still, the producers were set on giving Zack that classic sun-kissed surfer dude appearance to match the show's Southern California vibe. The irony? Zack Morris wasn't originally supposed to be the main character. But once NBC retooled the show, Zack took center stage. And so did his signature bleached locks. Fans may remember his charming grin and cell phone, but that bottle blonde hair played a surprisingly big role in defining the character's cool factor. However, just when you thought Zack's hair dye routine was bizarre, A.C. Slater's original identity might be the weirdest twist of all. A.C. Slater, the charming jock with the perfect dimples, wasn't always supposed to be Latino. In early drafts of the show, the character was written as Italian-American, even going by the name A.C. Sanchez at one point. But when Mario Lopez was cast, producers decided to lean into his real-life Hispanic heritage. The switch wasn't just cosmetic. It influenced how Slater talked, what kind of slang he used, and even the way he dressed. Still, the show never dove deep into his background, leaving it mostly in the background of his character. Think that's strange? Wait until you hear what they changed about Lisa Turtle. Lisa Turtle, Bayside's fashion queen and gossip expert, was originally written as a completely different character. In the early scripts, Lisa was meant to be a rich, Jewish Valley Girl type. But everything changed when Lark Voorhees auditioned for the role. Her performance impressed the producers so much they rewrote the character to fit her instead of recasting. This made Lisa one of the very few African-American characters in a lead role on a major teen sitcom at the time. Despite the change, Lisa kept her stylish wardrobe, quick wit, and high social status. But the show never really addressed her race, which was unusual and maybe even progressive for the early 90s. Lisa's character was rewritten before the cameras even rolled.
Now, Kelly, how would you feel if she and Zack were just friends?
However, behind the scenes, something else was quietly reshaping the show in real time. When Saved by the Bell started, Zack Morris and A.C. Slater were designed to be enemies. The cool, mischievous Zack clashed with the tough, athletic Slater over everything, especially their mutual crush on Kelly Kapowski. But something unexpected happened. The actors genuinely got along. Mark Paul Gosselaar and Mario Lopez developed such a strong off-screen friendship that it began to influence their on-screen chemistry. Instead of playing bitter rivals, their dynamics softened into playful competition and even genuine camaraderie. Writers noticed and adjusted the scripts accordingly. The result? One of the most memorable bromances in 90s television. But behind the scenes, not everyone felt quite as comfortable in their role. Elizabeth Berkley, who played Jessie Spano, had a love-hate relationship with her character's fashion. While Lisa Turtle got flashy designer outfits, Jessie was often dressed in oversized sweaters, high-waisted jeans, and layers of loose flannel. Berkley admitted in interviews that she wasn't a fan, calling some of the clothes balloon pants and joking that Jessie looked like she got dressed in the dark. The wardrobe choices weren't random, though. Producers dressed Jessie in a more modest, intellectual style to highlight her serious student persona. It helped set her apart from the rest of the group, but it also frustrated Berkeley, who felt boxed into a specific image. It was frustrating, even limiting. However, what happened next only added to the tension in ways no one expected. Behind the camera, the Saved by the Bell cast was just as dramatic as the characters they played, especially when it came to romance. Mark Paul Gosselaar, who played Zack, later admitted in interviews that he dated all three of his female co-stars at different times: Lark Voorhees, Lisa, Tiffany Thiessen, Kelly, and Elizabeth Berkley, Jessie.
You know, of course, this is old news, but it said you actually dated three of your co-stars, but you're probably a kid when that happened.
Yeah, no, I mean, it all happened in the span of the show. None of us dated after the show was canceled.
Mario Lopez, who played Slater, also had his share of off-screen chemistry. He briefly dated Tiffany Thiessen during the early days of filming. According to cast members, the set sometimes felt like high school in real life, with crushes, breakups, and tension all in the mix. Despite the dating drama, most of the cast maintained a professional vibe while filming. Still, fans love knowing that some of those romantic moments on screen were a little more real than we thought. But even with all that real-life tension, there was one rule on set that no one dared to break. Saved by the Bell may have been full of teen antics and sarcasm.
Going on? We're getting Miss Bliss. Think she'll fall for it? Absolutely not.
But there was one strict rule behind the scenes: no swearing. The show was aimed at kids and families, so producers enforced a strict clean language policy on set, both in the scripts and among the cast during filming. Writers had to get creative to keep dialogue funny without using anything even remotely offensive. Meanwhile, cast members were expected to watch their language at all times, even between takes. If someone slipped up, they were often given a gentle warning, or asked to redo a scene entirely. This squeaky clean standard helped Saved by the Bell stand out from other shows of the time. One scene, though, became more than just another take. It marked a real-life first that Dustin Diamond would never forget. For Dustin Diamond, who played the lovable but awkward Screech, one memorable scene on Saved by the Bell turned into a real-life milestone. During an episode where Screech gets a surprise kiss from Violet Bickerstaff,
I thought you never asked.
played by Tori Spelling, it wasn't just a scripted smooch, it was Diamond's actual first kiss. He was only in his early teens at the time, and admitted later in interviews that he was incredibly nervous. Spelling, already a familiar face from her famous family, helped calm his nerves. Despite the pressure of doing it in front of cameras and a full crew, the moment went smoothly and gave Screech a sweet, if slightly awkward, TV memory that fans still remember. It was a moment he'd never forget, sealed on camera for millions to see. And while fans were still talking about that kiss, the world of Saved by the Bell was just getting started. Saved by the Bell wasn't just a hit show, it grew into a full-blown franchise. After the original series ended, NBC launched multiple spin-offs, including Saved by the Bell, The College Years, and The New Class. While not all of them had the same magic, they kept the Bayside vibe alive for nearly a decade. But the show didn't stop at TV. Saved by the Bell inspired comic books, board games, and even a trivia game. One of the weirdest and coolest offshoots? A real-life restaurant called Saved by the Max, styled exactly like the gang's favorite hangout. It started as a pop-up in Chicago and later moved to Los Angeles, serving retro food and full 90s nostalgia.